Okay, so this is just a follow-up on the leg rig that I did with everyDayMaya and keeping it simple. What I'm going to do now is just add some FK to it and show you how to do a switch from IK to FK. It's actually a lot easier than you may think. A lot of people get tied up in having multiple joint chains and things like that. You actually don't need to do that. Maya already has some built-in tools for you. So what I'm going to do is create a nerve circle to begin with, because this is going to be my FK controls, and just off the bat what I'm going to do is do something like that, just so that we have something that looks different basically. And just so you know, I'm using freeze transforms and delete history. I have in my hotbox. I use it all the time. That's why it's there. And this I'm going to do something a little bit different, in that I'm going to just duplicate this original a couple of times. But I hide that original one just so I have it in the wings and I can use it. I'm going to hide geometry for a second here. And basically what I want is a control at the ball of the foot, the ankle, the knee, and the hip, right? So we can go in here and just name this. We'll say L ball. So I'm going to do FK. And I'm going to capitalize that L because I like having that easily readable. We'll do L ankle, FK, come on. We'll do L knee, FK, and I need one more, so we'll just duplicate the original, and we'll call it hip, FK, cool. And ideally these groups should match. This is the kind of stuff that you will write a little code for to make yourself not go crazy. L, knee, FK, group, ankle, and L, ball, FK, group. Let's fix this one, even though it doesn't really matter. All right, cool. So I have these guys created, so what I'm going to do is just snap them into the right places. Now, you've seen for years, there's that parent constraint, delete the parent constraint, stuff like that. You don't have to do any of that anymore. You may see with other tutorials. So basically, I'm just going to select the group and then the joint and go to Modify, Match Transformations, Match All Transformations, and you can see it now goes to line up with that joint. And I'm going to show the local rotation axes. Wait, come here. There we go. Cool. So here's the joint, here's my control, and you can see they line up. That's what we want. So zero that back out. Oh, incidentally, I have a reset channels here that'll just kick it back to the original. So we'll take the ankle, select here, I think. Nope. I was hoping I could hit G, but I guess not. So match all transformations. We'll go over to the knee. I should be able to hit G this time, which I did. Now it matches. I'm going to hit the hip. Up here, hit G, it's going to match. Now the one thing you'll notice is that the angles are kind of off. Like you probably don't want your controls in that alignment. So what I'm going to do, and this is again, you can either do this by editing the CVs, or since we have a group above and we haven't done anything yet, I can go in here and just rotate these guys all 90 degrees. And as long as I freeze them, they're going to reline up because they're going to look at the parents for their local rotation. So I move this off just so you can see it. Oops. There we go. Move it off. You see how they line up together, right? Cool. And then I'm going to parent these up. So the ball goes under the ankle. Ankle goes under the knee. Knee goes under the hip. Right? So I'm going to move this to the side just so you can see it. You can see it. It basically looks like the same hierarchy. Working the way you want it to work. In fact, I will leave it over here, even though I normally wouldn't do this, but I'm going to leave it over here to show you the connections and how easy this is. So let me actually go back to our foot group here for a second. Actually, the knee group too. We could just group all this and call this like LIK group. Hide it so we don't have to look at it. And what I'll do is just go in here and I'm just going to, well, first let's get rid of scale and visibility. All right, cool. I'll select that, select the control, select the joint, and do a constrain, orient constraint. I'm not going to do maintain offset. I'd like to, wow, I use 0. Anyway, I like to have that turned off because I want these guys to line up 1 to 1. I'm going to go blink, all right? And you won't see anything happen off the bat, right? Because the FK hasn't, because the IK is still controlling everything, right? So if I go in here and rotate these, nothing happens, right? It's because we still have those IK handles on there controlling what these joints do. Remember, we have one from here to here, one from here to here, and one from here to here. So let's go into our, I'm trying to remember where I did that. I think it's in here. Cool. Yep, I have my IK handles in here. And it's one of those things too, where it's a good idea to name your stuff. So that's the L leg. This one is the L, and I'm just naming it quick so I have it. Doesn't really matter. L toe. Human readable, that's what I call it. All right, so now I just need a way to switch back and forth on these guys. So let me just show you something really quick. If I grab all of these IK handles and I go to my channel box here, I have what's called the IK blend. If I turn that off, so you see that I get a little bit different looks of my control. It's showing and hiding something. If I get in really close, you can see it says, I think, IK. Let me see if I hide that. Nope. Is that a locator? Let's hide joints. How weird. Thought I had that in there. Give me handles. Nope. Give me IK handles. Yeah, so it's an IK handle. You can see it says IK. It's really, really small. Any case, when that's set to 0, get rid of back my joints. Now my FK is going to control it because the orient constraints that are controlling them are taking over. Right? I've done nothing except for just swap that IK blend attribute. So what I want to do is just give a simple switch somewhere that's going to hang out to turn this off and on. So let's just make one. I'm going to go to Create, Curves, EP Curve tool. I like the EP curve. What I generally do is I keep my CV curve tool on the degree of 3, and my EP on a curve degree of 1. And this just gives me a quick way to access that. That's all it really is. I'm going to hold that X. 1, 2, 3, 4. Cool. Now I have a basic control, which is offset from where I want it. So I'm going to center its pivot and just snap an X over and then refreeze it and kill its history. All right, so now I just basically have a little control I can use. I'm going to call this L FKIK. Again, name it anything you want, doesn't matter. I'm going to move this over here. Now that little thing I just did was actually it was just a match. Cool. And since this guy isn't going to actually control anything, I can just freeze it and that's fine. It's not going to hurt anything. Okay, but I am going to add a channel to this, and basically I'm going to take all these channels and lock and hide them. I'm going to add a channel real quick. First I'm going to put a divider on there, which is again just that enum, but in this case what I've done in the enum value is just made it underscore, 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 so it doesn't look like anything. And I'm just going to do FK, IK, and I always do it that way. I always do FK first, IK second, because basically the way I read this is if it's at 0, i.e. FK on the left side, it's FK. If it's at 1 on the right side, it's IK. And that's a float adder in this case, because I'm going to let it blend on me. All right, so I think what I'm going to do is go to the node editor, show how to connect this up, because there's a multitude of ways you can make these connections. I like the node editor. It's a little bit funky sometimes, in that things can get rearranged and stuff. That's not a giant deal, but you do want to just be aware. All right, I'm going to drag these in. I find, oops, not the knee. Is that the one I forgot? Yep, okay, cool. So I'm going to bring these guys in here. Cool. And I want to go to that IK blend. So FK, IK, to IK blend. FK to IK blend. And into IK blend for all three of them. Cool. So now, if, I don't know why I keyed it, a mistake. Okay, so now if it's at 1, I've got my IK controlling it. And if it's at 0, I have my FK controlling it. Alright, and to make this more, wait, did I move it out of position? No, I used the group. Okay, so I'll snap that back. So now you can see the two. I'm in IK. I went past my pole vector. There we go. And now if I just go, you can see the blend between them, right? So back in the day, we always used to have blend on our FK-IK switches because you just get it close and then over a couple free keyframes move from one to the other. Nowadays, a lot of people like to do snapping tools to make sure they align perfectly. I'm not going to do that for this tutorial, maybe the next one, but that'll just give you an idea of what we're working with here. All right, now I'm going to zero that back out. So now that I've got that set up, I'm just going to clean things up just a little tiny bit. What I'd like to do is hide these guys when I'm in IK and hide the FK when I'm in, hide the IK when I'm in FK and hide the FK when I'm in IK. So again, I'm going to do that through the node editor. Let me reopen that. Cool. I don't need the K handles anymore. Bing. But I do need the controls. There's a myriad of ways I could do this. I'm actually just going to go right to the group here. And let's find it in our outliner. Actually, I'll just use this. Drag it in. And I'm just going to connect the FK-IK to the group. So there's visibility. And incidentally, you can go A to B or B to A. The connection's still the same because you're going on, it depends on which side of the node you're going. All right, so you see how it already turned it off because I'm in FK mode. When I go to IK, it's going to turn it on, right? Cool. So now for the FK, we're going to do the same thing. Drag that in here. But in this case, I'm going to add a reverse. And open this up. Don't select it. Okay, I'll go FK into FK channel into input X, and that's going to go output X into my visibility. Cool. So now what just happens? Oh, there's a IK and there's FK, right? Cool. All right. Now, so one of the things I often add too is just a way to override this, because sometimes you want to still see. You want to see both, you know. So I'll do like an IK viz, and I'll make it a boolean, and an FK viz, and a boolean. We used to not use booleans because this middle mouse drag thing didn't work, but that's been updated. All right, so you can see I have those channels here on the node editor. I'm just going to do an add double linear. Whoops, not add matrix. I'm going to hit tab, ADD, add double linear. Let's for that. Cool. So I'm now instead going to go into my input 1 here, and I'm going to go from my IK viz into input 2. Oops. Come on. How did I break it? There we go. Cool. So FK IK into input 1, IK viz into input 2, output into visibility. So now what that does for me is I can take the IK and say, you know what, I don't care, just show it to me. Right? It's like an override. It's okay that when I switch this into FK, I'm basically saying 1 plus 1 into visibility, because the visibility is just 0 to 1. So as long as it's over 1, it's visible, right? So I'm going to do the same thing for my FK. So again, add double linear, open that up. So the first one goes into the input. Second one, FK viz, goes into input 2, and then now that's going to go into output X goes in here, right? So because I still need to reverse it coming out, but then I want my, so basically what I'm saying is the reverse of this, right? So if I'm in FK, reverse it becomes 1, so 1 plus FK viz, which is currently on, so this should be 1 and 1. Let's open it up. Yep. Oh, I don't have it switched. Anyway, we'll turn it on, right? So let's just see if it works. So So I'm currently in, let's turn them both off. So we have the default behavior. FK is on, we can see FK. IK is on, we can see IK. I want to see my FK for some reason, or my IK for some reason when I'm in FK. There it is. And if I go to IK and I want to see my FK, I can just turn it on and I can see it. Sometimes that's helpful when you want to align things and stuff like that. So animators like to have that control. Yes, it's keyable. That's fine. You could, go in here and make this unkeyable. I think I have to hold Alt. I just use my tools usually for this. That's what this can do. You can say set unkeyable, but it should also be in here. Make selected keyable, make selected non-keyable. There it is. Cool. So that way when I have the control selected, I can hit S. It's only going to key the FK-IK switch. If I have all of them selected, I hit S. Oh wait, I can say key selected. It will key them even though it's set to unkeyable. But by default, when I hit S, it's only going to key the channels that are set to keyable. That's more to taste. You can figure out if you want to have that on or not on. Cool. So again, let's grab those IK handles just to show you that's what I have selected. I'm going to hide those because I don't need them. And that's kind of it for going back and forth between the two. A little more cleanup. I think what I'll do is I'm going to, let's see here. Let's take the, FK. Take all this, group it together. I'm going to call this L leg rig. And the joints don't have to be underneath there, but because that's probably going to be connected to a hip and so on and so forth. Yeah, so that's probably it for adding that FK to your setup.